Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. My name is Sister Fatima Hajj. Welcome. All right, today we're going to continue our conversation on the strength of the Black woman of America. And we're also going to touch on the war and the outcome of the war. All right, sisters. So, first, we're going to focus on you being a warrior queen. Sisters, we are warrior queens. And why is that? I mean, you're a queen already, but you're a warrior because you made sure that our nation would be here today. Now, we have our open enemies, right? They have taken us from our land, brought us here to America, right? Stripped us of all knowledge of self, right? And he raped our Black woman so they can produce their children that look like us, talk like us, but they are not us, sisters and brothers. Now, the Black woman had to suffer in terrible, extreme conditions while being raped, beaten, pregnant. These are the conditions that we were in. And their attempt was to wipe out our nation through rape, sisters and brothers. So they made sure that they had, in place where we cannot produce children with our Black men, with our men. Because that means that we're going to be producing who? Our nation, right? Now we know that they try to wipe us out, right? Commit genocide on our nation. This is what they tried to do. This is their attempt. To rape all the women, make us produce their babies, kill all the men. This is their attempt to commit genocide on our nation. However, their attempt to do so was not successful because we are in fact still here today. And they brought us here in 1555. So that's to tell you that the Black woman is a warrior, powerful, because that means in all those extreme conditions and during during their attempt to wipe us out, she kept producing with the black man. And because we're here today, this is the results of that. She would get killed if she, excuse me, sisters and brothers, if she was to birth a black baby, she would get killed, right? Or that baby, they made sure they killed that baby. Threw it to alligators. This is what they do. This is what they did. So just imagine the conditions that the woman was in, carrying our children, carrying our seed. Because she did so, we did that, because we're here today. Our nation is here today, still. Through the attempt of genocide, they were not successful in that. That should show you the power of the black woman, the love that the black woman has for her own, right? Because she's still producing our nation. She's the reason why our nation is still here today. Without the fight of the black woman, our nation would be wiped out. Wiped out completely, right? And it's the strength of the woman, the black woman, that carried us through to this time today. Sisters, you're warrior queens. We are our ancestors. And we have done our job. You kept your nation alive in hell for 400 plus years. And our enemies has attempted genocide. That's their whole goal, to wipe us out. And they have not been successful in that because of you, black woman. You've done your job. Now, all you have to do is get your award. And your award is your mind. Getting out of here. Right? Understanding who you truly are. Getting completely rid of our enemy's mind and getting our minds back. Because they have wiped our minds from us and given us their mind, sisters and brothers. So now we're operating like our enemies. So, we're not recognized and, valued as being a warrior or a queen because you have their black-faced children destroying and tarnishing our image. The black-faced children that we produced through rape. Black-faced devils, masses seed, house Negroes, sisters and brothers, house Negroes is what they were entitled as. They were not just in Massa's house because they were favored by Massa. Massa liked them more. No. It was because they were Massa's children. And the plan was to produce children with the black woman that had the seed of them, the bloodline, but they looked like us. So they would corrupt our nation, camouflaged in with our nation. and have us doing what they're doing. They're the role models. They're our role models. That's who we're looking up to. They did this so we will destroy ourselves. Because we're surrounded by wolves in sheep's clothing. Not only do we have an open enemy, we also have a hidden enemy. And that hidden enemy looks like us. They talk like us. Some walk like us. They walk like us, but they're not us, sisters and brothers. They have the minds of their fathers. You had the house Negroes and you had the field Negroes. It didn't matter what skin tone you were. That does not determine your bloodline. The nature is what determines who you are, your nature, right? Your blood, the bloodline, right? Now, we have, like I shared, the skin tone doesn't matter, right? So we have because we have dark skinned house Negroes, masses, children, right? And you have some black originals that are as white as Caucasians. So this is why we do not determine this by the skin tone. We determine this by the mind, right? And the nature of a person. And the nature of our hidden enemies is devils. Sisters and brothers, they're devils, demons, half man, half devil, weak and wicked, kill, steal, and destroy. They look just like us, but they act just like their fathers. Just like them. And they have corrupted our nation with them, all in attempts to use them to destroy us. Now, sisters and brothers, and this is also an attempt to wipe us out as well. However, they were not successful in doing so, which is why the black woman is such a warrior, because she went through the unimaginable, sisters and brothers. We went through the unimaginable, having to carry masses' children, being raped, having to work 24/7 around the clock, living in unhumane conditions. Our children being taken away from us, our families being separated. They had us eating out of pig troughs, treating us like straight animals. Totally dehumanized us, sisters and brothers. They put us under extreme pressure. And we still are here today. And we know that pressure creates diamonds, extreme pressure, right? And that's exactly what they have created. They thought they were destroying us, but they were only making us stronger. And they tried to tarnish our history as well. Their demon children and them as well, by calling it critical race theory, meaning it may have happened, it may have not happened, or calling it just slavery, when that's not all that the black man and woman experienced. So that's just a slap in the face. Our true experience was horror. And this is an actual fact that the black man and woman experienced this. Not a theory, not some made up crap. This is actual facts that the black man and woman suffered. The worst suffering that you can even think of on the planet. And we're still here today, which shows our strength and power. They can do everything they want to try to cover up the true experience of the black man and woman. But they're not successful because it's out here, sisters and brothers. But they don't want to teach it in their schooling. They don't want to acknowledge it because then they'll be acknowledging that they are the ones who did these things to us. Sisters and brothers, we are our ancestors, right? So that means that what? They are as well. They are their ancestors. So when they say, oh, that didn't happen to y'all, that happened a long time ago, and you know why y'all even mad about that anymore? Y'all just need to move forward. So long ago. They're talking to the people that they did these actions to. Because we are our ancestors. So that means that we are those people that experience those things. We're just returned back through the womb in a new body, right? We are our ancestors, right? So that hurt and pain is within us. Everything that y'all did to the black man and woman of America for 400 plus years, all that anger and pain is within us because that was us. And we're here today to finish our mission. Because our ancestors would hate to see us hugging on massa. Imagine what they had to experience and how we are with them today. Oh, that they would be turning in their graves, sisters and brothers. That's because you don't know. And they've taken that away from you. This is why you don't know. But it's in you. Because why is the black woman so angry? She says, I had to. Why is the black man just so... Excuse me, sisters and brothers. Because this pain rides within us. And all those Caucasians out here, they are their ancestors. And they are the people who did these actions to us. So just think about that. They are the people who did these things to us. And they don't even realize that they are the people who did these things to us. They hate you, sisters and brothers. And they have changed us 100%. And in order to keep us oppressed, keep us in their mindset on their time, they have to continue to place fear into our mind, right? Continue, because that's what's causing us to, obey them. You have to realize that we're still on the plantation. We're still here in the land of our imprisonment. And it shares that after our 400 years of servitude, will the nation that afflicted the black man and woman be judged? The black man and woman of America. It reads this in Genesis chapter 15. And this is, in fact, the Abrahamic covenant. The black man and woman's vision. The black man and woman of America's true vision. The Abrahamic covenant. It describes only the black man and woman of America. If you read, starting at verse 13, it identifies Abraham's vision, right? He had a vision of horror. Why is that? Because that's exactly what happened. It shall we be enslaved, brought to a strange land. It tells us that we will be brought to a strange land. And that's exactly what took place. We brought here in 5055 to this strange land here in America. Enslaved. That's exactly what took place. And afflicted. Right? That means we were not only enslaved, they also afflicted us. And it was told for them, right, to not eat from that tree, or they'll be cursed. And that's exactly what they did. They started to kill us, sisters and brothers. Horror. Beat us, rape us. None of these things are in the definition of slavery, which is what they were to do, enslave us, not kill us, sisters and brothers. But that's exactly what they did, which is why they're cursed. And it said that after that, what? They will be cursed, sisters and brothers. But it said that after, and I'm back to Genesis. Chapter 15, the Abrahamic covenant. It identifies that after the 400 years, will I judge those who afflicted my people. So, sisters and brothers, we were brought here in 1555. It took them 64 years from 1555 to turn us into Negro robots for massa. It took them 64 years to strip us from our minds, and they gave us their minds. And it took them 64 years to do that, which tells you that when we were brought here, we did not think like them. We did not have their minds. We had our minds, right? So it took them 64 years to do that, which makes our servitude begin in 1619. 1619 to 2019 reaches our 400-year mark of servitude. Now, sisters and brothers, it's said that after the 400 years of servitude will I judge the nation whom afflicted my people. As soon as 2020 began, Exodus, the scriptures began to follow suit. Coronavirus. This is the start of their judgment. 2020. What did they do? They shut down their whole economy. Why did they do that? Because they were dying from this virus. Their nation. This freaked them out, sisters and brothers. This freaked them out. They read the scriptures. They know what's taking place. So when 2020 began with that virus that killed them, but passed over Black America and passed over Black Africa. Why did it do that? Why? Because it said we'll pass over those with the Lamb's blood, right? All of those who are original, it will pass over you. And that's exactly what it did. Which is why they were forcing you, constantly promoting, doing everything that they could to get you and lure you in to get that shot. On top of sending it over to Black Africa, which was not affected by it. So if they were not affected by it, why send over that? Why go over there bothering them with it? Because they couldn't have that take place. They couldn't have that narrative going. That the Black people did not die from this. Oh, that will bring up too many questions. Oh, especially to those who read the scriptures. So they had to send it over there and corrupt the Black Africa as well. They were not affected by the virus. They were affected by those shots and things that they sent over there. Like they affected our nation here, the Black people in America, with as well. Forcing you to get the shot, telling you can't go to work without getting the shot. You know, so a lot of our people did do that. But we got to understand that this was the start of their judgment. This was a sign. This was the start of their judgment. And it happened on time, sisters and brothers. 2019 was the end, the 400-year mark. 1619 to 2019. Let's just do the calculations. Yes, we've been here longer than 400 years because, like I shared, we were brought here in 1555, sisters and brothers. We were brought here in 1555. Yes. So, but you got to understand that our servitude did not begin until 1619 because it took time for them to turn us into slaves, right? So it began in 1619, which adds up to 2019, 400 years, and 2020 came right on in with the plague. And it said we killed the firstborn, which represents the elderly, sisters and brothers. And that's exactly what took place. A lot of elders passed away. And this is due to their immune system not being able to fight off that virus. On top of that, they were probably devils or demons, you know? So we have to understand that the scriptures are being exposed right before our eyes. We are living out the scriptures. Which brings me to our next topic, the war in the Middle East. Now we know that false Israel, as you see, is at war with Iran. Now, false Israel are not God's people. But this is what the whole world know as God's people. This is what they're taught, right? That false Israel, there's God, they are God's chosen, right? But they, in fact, don't meet the description, right? So let's get into that. Now, our messenger, Elijah Muhammad, came and exposed that the black man and woman are the true seed of Abraham, God's people, right? They couldn't have that, sisters and brothers. They couldn't have our people finding out that they are God's people. That'll put, that alone will, change the minds of us, right? So they had to counter that claim, sisters and brothers, and they had to and what they did was, put those people over there in Palestine, right? And they portraying right now as us. And they're teaching you that the scriptures are past tense and, these things have already happened, which is why they're over there in that land, Palestine, as God's people. But that's not the land that is sure that they would receive. So they have stolen our identity, right? This is exactly what they have done. They have stolen the black man and woman of America's identity, right? Which is God's people. And they're claiming to be us. Which is why they are blessing them, because they think that this world thinks that they are God's people, right? But they're actually cursing God's people. And they share that those who bless them will be blessed, and those who curse them will be cursed forever, right? And that's exactly, they think that they're doing the right thing, sisters and brothers. They think that they're blessing God's people. And they think that God's people is those who are over there in false Israel. But that's not who they are. I mean, and all the proof is right here in your face. They claim to be God's people, but they don't meet the description of God's people, right? It shared that they will be placed in a land back to their land, Arabia, right? In peace. They will be at peace. There's no peace over there. First of all, they're not even in the land that it said that it will be in. They should be in Arabia right now, right? At peace. And these things, and he doesn't meet that description, and it didn't meet that second description. What else? It said they will not be uprooted. Scriptures is exposing that false sisters will be destroyed, and that they're false. Chapter 2 and 3, Revelations tell you that. Verse 9. That they are not who they claim to be. They're false and they're liars, sisters and brothers. And they have stolen our identity. We meet that description. And they've done everything in their power to make sure you never realize the crime that they have committed, right? So this is why they have false Israel in control of everything that the black man and woman does here in America. Because their plan is to make sure your nation is a dead nation, making sure your nation is aborted and destroyed, right? So they're in charge of the music that you're listening to. They're in charge of the movies that you watch, the shows that you watch, the comedians, their television. Because their television is telling you their vision. And their vision is to destroy the black man and woman. So all you see on their television is killing, stealing, and destroy. Killing, stealing, destruction. Weak and wicked. And this is also their nature. And this is the only perspective that we receive. So this is what we're acting like them. Because we're operating off of their mind, right? But this is all because they are making sure they keep you distracted with sports, watching TV, going to the jobs. All these things that they have you doing is to destroy your minds, sisters and brothers. Destroy the black man and woman of America. Destroy our minds. This is their plan. So wipe us out completely. So they have their demon children telling us what to do, and we're listening to them because we're looking up to them as if we, just like we were during the Holocaust, during the time before they released us. We were on the plantation and we looked up to the house Negroes. That's exactly what we're doing now. Nothing has changed. Just the time has changed. We're now in the industrial revolution. Now we are, now you're able to drive a car to the plantation, but you're still going to that plantation, sisters and brothers. And you're still looking up to the house Negroes, masses children, who they have on their televisions because they have you looking up to them in their minds, right? Do what they say, do what they do. So we're walking around naked, the black woman. But that's the way that they show their beauty because they don't have any beauty, true beauty, like me and you. You don't have to be butt naked to express our beauty. We're beauty by nature. Our actions show our beauty. Us taking care of our children, our husbands, our families shows our beauty. Us covering ourselves shows that beauty because we're disciplining ourselves, right? So sisters, we don't have to, act like them, but that's the only example that has been given to us. Because that's the example of destruction. They know that example leads to destruction. Keep our families torn apart, Keep the black woman in the mindset of she needs to be keep the black woman in the mindset that she needs to be a single, independent woman. She doesn't need the other half, and black men thinking that they don't, they can be single as well. That's another narrative. Or not only that, they're not only using that tactic, they're trying everything in their power to abort our nation through our men in prison. That's not working, but that's what they attempted to do. So our women are not able to produce with them. Turn our men gay. Our women are gay. Give us vaccinations. Tell us that abortions are okay. Giving us birth control. All of this is to abort our nation. Sisters and brothers. Sisters and brothers, but we're still here today. So that means that none of those things that they attempted to do has worked because we're still here today. Sisters and brothers, false Israel is against us. They've stolen our identity. And we have to understand that soon they're going to be destroyed. Very soon. They're going to be taken out. Sisters and brothers, they're going to be kicked out of the Middle East. Sisters and brothers, it's going to be a total, they're going to be destroyed, sisters and brothers. In chapter 18, it speaks about the total economic collapse. And it's going to take place instantly, sisters and brothers. It said that, excuse me, sisters and brothers. Once false Israel is destroyed, that is going to change the minds of our people, completely. It's going to be the shock of the hour. Because everybody's rooting for America right now. But the scripture tells us that they're going to lose this war. America and false Israel, Britain, they're all in together, sisters and brothers. And what's taking place over there in false Israel is soon to come here. In chapter 18 in Revelation, it speaks about the total economic collapse that's going to take place here in America, right? Because what's happening over there is coming here, right? This is what the scriptures are telling us. And they say it's going to be a total economic crash here in America. The fuel of their reality is oil. They need oil to fuel their economy, right? Their military cannot fight without oil. They use oil to fuel their planes, sisters and brothers, their ships, their tanks. This is why shit will break the pride of their power. Because their power, what? Is with that oil that they need. They don't have that. They have no power. Sisters and brothers, it's going to cripple America's military. And their power is needed to be fueled by what? Oil. And they're not going to have that, sisters and brothers. Which is why it says it's going to be a total economic collapse here in America. It's going to be a total famine here. Whatever food was available, sisters and brothers, whatever food was available will, in fact, be gone. So what does that mean for me and you, sisters and brothers? It said it's going to be so bad, that a pregnant woman would give birth to her own baby and eat it alive. Raw, sisters and brothers, after birth. Imagine that. Imagine the birth pain she'd be going through. And she would do that in silence. during this time. Unprecedented times. Total economic collapse. Why is she doing these things? This is painting you a picture of how serious the time that's about to approach us is. People are going to be eating each other. No food, no water, no electricity. Imagine this, sisters and brothers, a time like no other. Unprecedented times, sisters and brothers. And the scriptures give you a vivid picture of a situation that a woman will be going through. She will give birth in silence, and it takes hours to days. Sometimes women are in labor, excuse me. So just imagine that. And she's going to do all that in silence. Imagine the pains of a birth, sisters. Whew. The pains of giving birth. And you're having to give birth in silence. Just so you can eat that baby. That's how serious the times that are approaching are. Like I shared, what does this mean for us, Black men and women of America? This is going to be our time that we're going to come together and unite. Meaning you are going to have knowledge of self. You're going to have this light to get through that darkness. Because if you don't have that light that you need, you're going to perish. And the scriptures identify that we're going to come together as a mighty nation when this happens. And during this, they're going to be attacking all blacks. Why are they attacking all blacks? What's going on? Why? Because now it's exposed that false Israel is not the true seed of Abraham, which gives you that next runner up to be the true seed of Abraham, and that's exactly who you are. And everyone is going to realize that they've been cursing God's people. But they thought they were blessing. They've been cursing God's people. And they've been blessing the wrong people, right? So that means they have to get rid of the evidence of their crime. So they're going to be doing everything in their power to get rid of you. They're going to attack all blacks. And you're going to see these devils in full action, sisters and brothers. You won't be holding hands with them anymore. This is who they are by nature. Kill, steal, and destroy. They show you in their movies, shows, documentaries. They eat people. And they put us in the Constitution as 3/5 of a human. So imagine when this event takes place, who they're going to, who they're about to show you their true colors. That's all I can say. You're about to see the true colors of a devil. And it's important. That's why it's going to be such great shaking, because we need to be shooken. Because right now, we don't realize what's happening. We don't realize what's surrounding us. We don't realize we're in hell. Surrounded by demons and devils, physical demons and devils, nothing spooky. And this is what they did to your mind as well. Tell you everything is spooky, flying around, spirits. No, physical people, physical demons, physical devils. That's what's happening right now. You must know your enemies, sisters and brothers. If you do not know your enemy, you are in fact your own enemy, because you are walking around blind and don't know what's taking place. which is why we're giving you this light so you're able to prepare for this unprecedented times that's about to approach us. And preparing for that is getting your minds back, sisters and brothers, through the 5 pillars of Islam. The five mathematical pillars of Islam is your true nature. And through our unity, sisters and brothers, and us having one common vision, which is the Abrahamic covenant. And that's what's going to, the Abrahamic covenant also through the Injil. Because the Injil, which is Revelation, that is our map to get out of America, right? This is the mind that you're going to need to upload the Injil in order to escape this reality, right? So that is what we are preparing you for. You have to be able to apply the 5 pillars of Islam so we are able to, be successful in the time of the tribulations, sisters and brothers. Because we have to understand that we don't need guns and knives and, weapons to fight. Because soon we're going to realize that we are in control of the atmosphere. Yes, sisters and brothers, we are controlling the atmosphere. And through our discipline, once we all come together, through the discipline of our nation, sisters and brothers, we will have enough power to control the atmosphere. We'll have enough power to actually control it, right? Right now, we don't understand that we control it. Well, we do. But once we, like I shared, through discipline, we will realize that not realize, through discipline, that power, right? We will have enough power to be able to control the atmosphere, right? So we have to understand that we're going to control the atmosphere to our benefit. And we're going to use it as a weapon against our enemies. So like I said, we don't need guns, knives, sisters and brothers. Because our control of the weather is more powerful than the atomic bomb, sisters and brothers. We control the weather, we control the atmosphere, and that's more powerful than an atomic bomb, sisters and brothers. The devil's systems cannot even work properly when the weather is bad, right? So this is why the scriptures identify that no weapon formed against us shall prosper, because we are in control, sisters and brothers. We are in control, sisters and brothers. You are in control. Because Allah is the best of planners. We created all these things, sisters and brothers. We did. So through our unity, through our discipline, we will be able to realize that and fully control it. And they're in for a rude awakening, sisters and brothers, because they think that bullets and guns is going to, that's all you need to be successful. And that's not all you need. The mind. You need your minds back, sisters and brothers. Because that alone is your protection. It's our protection. Realizing that we are one body, that we need each other, right? We need one another. You need your foot. You need your hand. You need your arm, right? Every piece of the body matters. You need your brain. You need your mouth. Every piece of the body matters. And we need to, as a nation, we have to come to the realization that we are, in fact, one body. And we come together and move as one body. And that alone is powerful, sisters and brothers. Once we realize that, that's where the power lies. That's the true power, our unity. And shall we leave out of here with great substance? What is that great substance that we will leave out of here with? Us. We're that great substance. We blessed America, sisters and brothers. We did. All the innovations comes out of America. Why is that? All the innovations came from America. Before we were brought here, all they had was horse and buggy, right? All the innovations came from America. Why is that? Because America has God's people, the true seed of Abraham, the blueprint, the mind. This is why all the innovations came out of here, because it came from us, sisters and brothers. They try to tell you, they try to patent all these things, patent this, patent, because they didn't create these things, sisters and brothers. Why they do all those? Because they didn't do that. They lied to you. They're just technical. They're technical and we're spatial. Meaning we have the mind. We're the blueprint. And without the blueprint, they have nothing, right? So they have us here for a reason. You know? Sisters and brothers, they're keeping us here for a reason. They need us, right? They need us. Excuse me, sisters and brothers. They need us, sisters and brothers. Or else they would just, right? Excuse me, sisters and brothers. Give me one moment. Yes, as I shared, sisters and brothers, they need us to thrive. They're in control of our energy. So imagine that. These people are in control of our energy. And they're converting it into money so they can produce their oil, get their oil. They're in control. Give me one moment. Right. So, understanding that they get their power from our energy, but the quality of their power comes from oil, fuel. Like I shared, sisters and brothers, that oil is their lifeline, America's lifeline. They need that to thrive. They need it. And they take our energy, convert it into money, and buy oil with it, sisters and brothers. And oil gives them the quality of this reality, which is why it is important that we control our own energy, because they're controlling our energy and they're giving it the quality that they want to give it. That's why I said we become gods when we control, when we're able to do for self. On top of getting our minds back, but doing for self. Because they're in control of our energy right now. They're in control, especially with all of our people on Section 8 and things like that. They're making sure you're not thinking at all because they're paying your bills, right? They're making sure things is done on time. They're making sure these things are done, not you. So this is all giving you, basically making you have to stay under Master's control and obey him, because you are in fact receiving all of you're being taken care of by Master. And that was their plan. That's another one of their plans, to destroy our minds. Because now we're no longer thinking for self. We're not going to do it for self. And that's what makes you a God, right? So, sisters and brothers, it is important that we give you this light because you're going to need it during the time of darkness. We're going to have to come together during this time. We're going to be giving you the pillars, the 5 pillars of Islam that you need to be successful during this time. Because that's the source of what you need and the Injil. Your true vision, sisters and brothers. A people without a vision will perish, which is why they gave us the American dream. And we're here to give you your vision so you do not perish, sisters and brothers. And everything that we're speaking on, you can question it, you can research it yourself. Make sure you do those things because we don't want to just this information is yours, it's free, it's a free gift. We don't want you to just accept it just because that's what it is. Go do the research because you can get the answers for yourselves. And if you have questions, we're open, free to answer them for you, sisters and brothers. Please reach out to us because that's why we are here to save our nation. All right, sisters and brothers, with that, I will be back with more. Assalamu alaikum.